Hey y'all, hey girl, hey. We back here with Lemonaders, the podcast with me, Trinity Speaks. We have committed to not having any alcohol on set until after all episodes have been recorded during this session. So any shenanigans or foolishness that you experience on my part is due to a natural high that I tend to get whenever I am in my element and working in my purpose. So, for this episode, this is going to be part one of 2 episodes where I am going to take you down the rabbit hole of bounce back badassness. So, I was trained a long time ago, years and years and years and years ago, by this phenomenal lady by the name of Nan Henderson. I have been told all of my life that I was resilient. Before I even knew how to spell it, before I knew the definition of it, before I learned to embody it, before I learned to live it, I was being told that I was resilient. The first definition that I got of resilience was, it was kind of like a rubber band. Y'all got a rubber band around here? You got a rubber band? You got a hair tie? You got a hair tie. You got to give me your hair tie. Y'all, I'm talking to my makeup artist. If you have not experienced getting your makeup done by none other than Raya J of Raya J Beauty, yeah, she's my girl that keeps me looking pretty girl swag. Look at this. Look at this girl. Look at this right here. How many of y'all ever seen one of these? This right here, this thing right here is magical. So when you buy one of these, this is what it looks like, right? And when you need it to do what it does, you need it to be resilient, it does that too. So my first definition of resilience came through someone explaining to me that resilience was like a rubber band, that it was like this round circle and it could be stretched and pulled and twisted and pulled and twisted and knotted and pulled and still bounce back to its original form. But as I learned about resilience and started to see how it showed up in my life, it became so much more. Yes, it has elasticity. It can stretch. Yes, oftentimes it can bounce back to its original form. And maybe whoever discovered resilience didn't experience resilience the way I've had to experience resilience. So resilience for me sometimes required the maximum function of elasticity and bounce back badassness. True resilience can be twisted, can be stretched, can be pulled, can be tested, can be tried to the extent of its ability to live within its bounce back badassness. And it can serve a purpose. But what happens when it breaks? Like, what happens when you've had to be so resilient that it's broken part of you? What I've had to do in those moments, and if this didn't belong to my amazing moi, I would cut it and show you what sometimes resilience has to do. So let's just act like we broke it for a moment. It snapped. It lost its mind. Life kicked its ass, and the whole damn thing snapped. what do? You get that same thing, tie a knot, just tie that knot, and you put it back to work. Because life is going to be life. Just because you've been through one bad thing doesn't mean it's going to stop you from going through more bad things. It's going to happen. So life is still going to come. And you already been broken. You might be on meds now. You may have experienced a hospitalization. You may have experienced a divorce. You may have experienced homelessness. You may have lost your job. You may have had your heart broken. You may have been betrayed. You may have had to file bankruptcy. You may have had to rebuild your entire life because life just kicked your ass that bad to where everything just fell apart. And you feel like you're broken. And you don't know if you have purpose. And you don't know if you can take another step. But you've been told your whole life that you were resilient. And so you tie that knot. And you hang on. And you live in your purpose. So life is going to come. And it's going to twist you. And it's going to stretch you. And it's going to keep asking you to do things that you don't know if you're able to do. And you're going to get frustrated. And you're going to want to give up. But if you're anything like me, then you hear that damn whisper in your head telling you, no, you got purpose. You got talent. You got gifts and abilities. The world needs you. Don't give up. So you keep going at it. And just when you think that you're okay, you've made it again. You know, you got your scars. It's not represent your scars. Something happens that threatens to destroy you again. And so you got to tie another knot. You're just trying to hang on, hoping that it's enough to get you through what you got to go through this time. There is a science to this shit. Resilience. And I'm so grateful that I sought out training, that I sought out the expertise of people who had studied this for years, that I became an expert on the experts. And so I want to share with you 3 things that you can do to increase your lemonator bounce back badassness. So I want to give you some information on part 1 of these 2 episodes, where I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do to increase your resilience. And these things are brought to you by something called the resiliency wheel. And I learned this when I was trained in resiliency. The first thing that you need to have in your life in order to increase the likelihood of you being able to bounce back from just about anything that life throws your way is making sure that you're surrounded by caring and supportive people. And those people can be anybody. They can be family. They can be friends. They can be coworkers. They can be mentors. They can be coaches, teachers, CASAs, volunteers, neighbors. It can be anybody. The hardest part for you may be having to seek them out. And if you're someone like me who tries to be really independent, struggles to ask for help, can be in a room full of people and can feel completely alone, it's hard for me to reach out. And I've had to learn that asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And in me being willing to be vulnerable enough to ask for help, I'm giving the people around me permission to ask for help. I'm giving the people around me permission to be human. Because all of us need somebody. And so the first thing that you can do to increase your resilience is surround yourself with the right people. I read something once that says givers must learn to create boundaries because takers rarely do. And so you got to make sure that you're surrounded with people that are feeding into you, that are pouring into you, that are nurturing you, that are believing in you, that are looking for ways to help you get where it is that you're trying to go. There are people in your life that will show up for you doing what they can do, not just giving you a bunch of excuses on why they can't show up for you and be who you need them to be. And so that's number one. Build your tribe. Find your tribe and stick with them. When you find somebody that can make you feel better about being you, you hold on to that person. When you find somebody that will accept you for who you are, as you are, hold on to that person. When you find somebody that's willing to invest in you and invest in your dreams, hold on to that person. When you find someone that will just sit with you and be with you, hold on to that person. When you find somebody that you can dream with and you can build with, hold on to that person. When you find somebody that's willing to leverage their skills, talents, abilities, and gifts to help you get where you're trying to go, hold on to that person. Hold on to them. Cherish them. Keep them close. The next thing that you can do to boost your resilience is raising the bar. Having high expectations for your success is one way that you can build your resilience. And sometimes that's going to require you to do things even when you think you don't have what you need, even when you don't know if you have enough education, even if you don't know if you qualified, even if you are afraid. It's important for you to do it anyway. The first time that I came in here to record this podcast, I almost left. My makeup artist pulled up and I was like, girl, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I want to get in my car and I want to leave right now. I didn't have my hair done. I didn't have the shirts that I wanted. I didn't know if I had enough information or research done on what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know if I had the strength to get through it without falling apart or being consumed by my emotions. I just didn't know. And I was afraid of it not living up to my own expectations. I was afraid that I didn't have what it took to make a difference. And I was afraid that I was still hurting too much to be a source of healing for other people. And I was afraid that nobody would watch. And I was afraid that it would be another thing that I didn't stick to. I had a lot of fear, but I showed up anyway. And we got through it. And we started playing music. And I came in here and I did me. And that was good enough. And so I encourage you to raise the bar of expectation for yourself. Believe in yourself. Surround yourself with people that believe in you. Surround yourself with people that will tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. Acquire the skills. Be willing to learn. Be willing to sharpen your saw. Be willing to nurture your craft. Because the world is waiting on you. I've said it before, there's people that only you can help because of the way you tell your story, because of how you got through, because of the way that you chose to get up and keep it moving anyway. So raise the bar of expectation. Don't sell yourself short. Be excellent. Be the exception. Others may have given themselves permission to quit. But you, my lemonator, you may not. It ain't in you to quit. Okay? Raise the bar. And the third piece of advice, not advice, this is science. I told you, there's a science to this shit. The third thing that you can do that will increase your personal resilience, your personal bounce back badassness is engaging, seeking out, participating in opportunities for meaningfulness. Every single program that I have ever managed or developed had a community service component. Every single one. And the reason why every single program that I've ever developed or managed has had a community service component is because I believe that it is essential for people to have the opportunity to do meaningful shit. And no matter how much you've messed up in your life, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many strikes you have on your record, no matter how many baby daddies you got, no matter how many fights you've gotten into, no matter how much money you've gambled away, no matter how many times you've been to jail, no matter how many times you've been hospitalized, no matter your situation, you have the opportunity to do something for somebody else. You have the opportunity and you have the ability to make a difference in somebody else's life. And there's something magical that happens when you are intentional about putting your focus and your efforts on somebody else's problems, dilemmas, unfortunate circumstances. When you put your time and your energy and your effort to working towards trying to make somebody else's life better, magic happens within your own life. And I tell my kids, I tell myself, I tell the people that I work with, I tell my friends, where you put your energy is what will grow. Where you decide to put your energy is what's going to grow in your life. So if you decide that, or if I decide that I'm going to sit back and I'm going to have a pity party and feel sorry for myself in my situation, of course it's going to feel magnified. Of course it's going to feel bigger. Of course it's going to feel really hard. But if I manage, even in the midst of me going through my own stuff, if I manage to find a way to dig within myself and see how it is that I can help somebody else get through something that's probably worse than what I'm going through, then my problems don't feel so big. And when the problems don't feel so big, it's amazing to me how they manage to work themselves out. And while it's working itself out, you're helping somebody else figure out some stuff for themselves. And so, opportunity number 3 for you to increase your resilience, increase your lemonator, bounce back badassness, is finding a way to contribute, finding a way to give back, finding a way to create meaning in your life. All of this has happened for a reason. You have survived for a reason. You have survived 100% of your worst days. So when you look back on all those times that you thought that you didn't have what it took, that you didn't know how you were going to get through this, that you didn't think you had what it was going to take in order for you to get through it, all you got to do is look back and see how far you've come. That's the only time, like, you got my permission to look back, is to see how far you've come. And to reflect upon all the many times in your life when you didn't know if you had what it took. But now you're able to look back and be like, I did that. I got through that. You absolutely have what it takes. And if it comes down to credentials, if it comes down to education, if it comes down to experience, there's one thing that I know for sure. Is that oftentimes God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And because of what you've been through, I don't want you to doubt the calling on your life. There is a calling on your life. And if you don't know what that is yet, then I'm going to quote my foster mom, Elizabeth Nanny Osborne. And whenever I didn't understand something, or whenever I didn't get the answer to something that I thought I should know fast enough, she would just look at me and say, just keep on living, baby. Just keep on living. And so that's what I'm going to tell you. And between now and the next time that we come together, I want you to keep trying to figure it out. Keep putting those lemons to work. Keep creating something out of them. Keep feeding people with them. Keep quenching the thirst that exists inside other people the same way thirst exists inside of you. Use those lemons to quench it. So until we come together again, I want you to keep on living and trust that understanding will come. Hey, my lemonaders, I just want to make sure that you share this information with somebody that may be going through it right now. If you felt something, if this impacted you, if this made a difference in your life, I want you to share it so that we can get the information out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are notified when we have new episodes. Take care, and until next time, lemonaders, squeeze up.